that the same as yours? Check it.
That's right.
You got my pen, right?
I saw it. I was like, wait. I got one of those.
Yeah, it's the same.
How you doing? Good, yourself? Good.
You hear me? It's the same.
It was the gate. Like, well, he was leaving. I said, he's like, Rocky.
Oh, that's yours. I have it. So I hang up.
Does that wrap around? It goes all the way around.
Good. Are you a blight? Henry's chairman. Yeah, I know. So you would have to approach.
That's when I take my medication or something. Early afternoon, it was old cherry over there. I was like, I can't do this.
They heard that too. Either way, that is the same check. Well, that's not necessarily true, is it? You're making me ill. We don't know. That's kind of, you
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you to rise for our allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here.
Here. Here.
Present.
Here. 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 I declare a quorum. Consideration of previous minutes, I'll entertain a motion for somebody to accept the minutes of the 9th of May. Discuss Lightus, Mr. Libro, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Public session. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak by show of hands? Is there a gentleman with the blue jacket in front? You can come up. Name and address for the public record, please.
My name is Attorney for short. My address is 151 Center Road, Connecticut. I represent a purchaser of the property here in Ansonia. Somehow I missed the blight clean, so I paid it off. I sent a letter to Attorney Marini requesting a refund as opposed to mathematical errors, and I was looking to how I did own the property prior to my client if we could get some of the funds reimbursed. The liens, the letter I received said $15.75 owed back. $50 has been returned to me because it was mathematical error already, so it should have been $15.25 based on the mathematical calculation of the payments. In addition, the liens show only $450. Mathematically shows $600 expenses. So I was just looking to at least get that $150 back to return my client. And then I was looking for a total of
That's correct.
Are you gonna put it on our agenda for next month? Or?
I had talked to Rhonda about this, and essentially, Blight Department was just looking to verify it, and if it indeed was a mistake and it was under a previous owner, there would be no issue. We may not even need to bring it back to the Aldermen if it was simply a miscalculation. So I would hope that within the next week or so, we can have an answer.
Sounds good.
Can we get the, can we just get the property address?
31 Cedar Street.
Thank you.
I don't, but I can give you my. Yep, K-I-S-H-O-R-E. Last name is K-A-P-O-O-R. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Ed, come on up. Name and address for the public record, please.
Everyone, Councilman, I understand that we get sworn in as a public office, supposed to tell the truth, right? Okay, well, I understand, well, one person is an alderman, is telling people that he's a police commissioner too. There's a couple of people up that neighborhood up there telling me, oh yeah, he's a police commissioner. I said, he's a police commissioner. I said, well, I'm a dog catcher too. He's on the board, I'm not saying his name. And, there's a couple people told me that, they told, oh yeah, told me that he's a police commissioner. I said, well, I'm a dog catcher too.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Carroll.
Mr. Chairman, he's referring to me. I've heard he came to a function and was yelling it out of his car that I'm spreading that about myself. I'd like to put it on record. I am not a police commissioner. I don't know where he's getting his information from. I've never said I'm a police commissioner. I have attended maybe 3 police commissioner meetings.
I think you made your point.
There are 2 people that live in that complex told me that.
Thank you, Rick. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Oh, I'm sorry, that's right, Jim, please. Name and address of public record, please.
Janet Fletcher's lot 835 Street. I come here before you as counsel. I would like to take a few minutes to recognize the city employee for the superb work that she has done over the years. This is Jeannie Dunn, our animal superintendent. We have in our town about an average of 35% registered dogs. The town clerk's office sends out yearly reminders about these dogs. Diana sends out the postcards, and then Jan and Diana and myself take the payment. The people that do not register get put into a pile, and then the dog warden, Jeannie, single-handedly has to contact these people. In the next few weeks, our offices will be working together to see if we can increase that percentage of unregistered dogs. Since we're all talking about the budget, that just falls in the line of monetary. I ask all of you aldermen to help us and support, and in your wards, if you see anybody that hasn't had a dog's license, please help us out by giving them to our office. And that will help Jeannie as well as us. Jeannie does a wonderful job, but all the help you can give her, we appreciate. Thank you, and everybody keep cool on this wonderful one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Third call, is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Hearing none, seeing none, public session is closed. Public official session, Mayor Cassetti.
Good evening, members of the Board of Aldermen and residents of the great city of Ansonia. I recently attended graduation ceremonies at Assumption School, Ansonia Middle School, and the Ansonia High School. We are very proud of all our graduating classes of 2017. On Friday, I will speak at the graduation ceremony at Emmett O'Brien, my alma mater. We are proud of all our children children in Ansonia. We celebrate you and we wish you luck in furtherance of your education. I want to take a moment to recognize a young 7th grader who is a resident of Ansonia and attends St. Mary's and St. Michael's School. He won first place at Elks Lodge Local 571, first place in District Lodge, and first place for Best in State for his essay on drug awareness. That young man is Max Schuer, son of Aldermen Josh Schuer and Jen Schuer. Congratulations, Max, and your family. While friends, families, and students celebrate the success of graduation, we are celebrating the homecoming of an Ansonia native who has spent the last 5 years in the United States Marines as a sergeant, serving tours in Cuba, Iran, Iraq, and Japan. This 24-year-old man was a star athlete, breaking a state record for weightlifting in his class and playing starting fullback on the Ansonia High School football team, winning a state championship, the first team to go 14-0 in the state of Connecticut. His name is Sergeant Dennis Andrew Danley. I know his proud Uncle Harry is in the audience, as well as his mother Heather Danley and grandparents Clara and Harry Danley Sr. Family members and friends, Dennis, we salute you and we thank you for your service. We are thrilled to have you back in your hometown of Ansonia. You are one of Ansonia's best and bravest. Let's have him stand and give him a big round of applause. And the Cultural Commission, as well as Fire, Police, EMS, and our Public Works Department for the hard work and effort put into our fabulous Memorial Day Parade. Literally thousands of residents and visitors lined the parade route. It was truly a success. Thank you to all who participated and attended. Thank you to Ron Vaccaro, our esteemed MC and son of Alderman Lori Vaccaro and Linda Vaccaro. You have received a sheet with budget highlights that will reflect the positive changes made in the proposed budget. I want to thank Chairman Stowe and the Finance Committee for all their hard work. Our finance team, headed by Rich Bashura. I am proud to say that we have stabilized or reduced taxes for the past 4 years. We have seen steady growth in our grand list, with a projection for further growth in the upcoming year. Not bad for a city 6 square miles and very little room to expand business. We are reusing and repurposing buildings, properties that have sat vacant and fallow for decades. Harry Truman said, "Men make history and not the other way around." In periods where there is no leadership, society stands still. Progress occurs when courageous, skillful leaders seize the opportunity to change things for the better. I think this board has exhibited true leadership over the last 3.5 years. I want to thank them and my staff, Economic Development Director Sheila O'Malley and Corporation Counsel John Marini, for helping to facilitate economic development, seizing the opportunity to change things for the better. We are recharging Ansonia, and we have really hit a high watermark in terms of development. There are projects occurring in every corner of the city, from one end of Main Street to the other. 2 days ago, I received a call from my very dear friend, Alan Schwartz. Alan is the owner and broker for Big Y Plaza. He said he wanted to share with me some good news that hadn't even been shared with his partners who own the complex. He was announcing a new tenant. That new tenant is Home Goods. Home Goods is a global leader in retail market. They are a TJX company with a 40-year history and the leading off-price apparel and home fashions retailer in the U.S. and worldwide. This Home Goods store will be one of only 4 opened in 2017. TJX has over $40 billion in sales. We are excited about the potential this retail giant will have for our community. You will hear more about projects and grants from my staff. Thank you, and God bless you all, and God bless the city of Ansonia.
Are there any questions of the Alderman for our John Reed?
Yes.
Okay, Dave, on, have you gotten anything on the parking lot, or our parking lot over where Fitzpatrick is? Have we figured out what that lease is yet?
Yes, it's $6,000 a year that they pay us for the 4 lanes.
When
But
can
I'm-
we have our property back?
Joan, I am setting up a meeting with Paul from Fitzpatrick to tell him that we would like to get that property back.
Okay, I have one other question for
Sure.
you. Has anything been done on the fire hydrants? Because I was down on, last night I was at a meeting here at City Hall, and I came back by the cemetery, Pine Grove, and it looked to me like, I thought there was a fire hydrant there, or there used to be a fire hydrant there, but it looked like it was all broken up or...
On Church Street?
No, on Wakely Avenue and May Street.
Right.
You know where the cemetery is?
Right.
Pine Grove, right on that corner.
So we're Mary and...
Right across from this funeral parlor.
Yeah,
All right, I'm positive there used to be a hydrant there.
yeah.
I would like to have it checked because it looks like something happened, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
okay, I'll
there
call the
should
water
be.
company tomorrow and ask.
And the other thing I would like to find out is when and where are we checking our hydrants? There's one right in the corner by my store. Looks beautiful, it had a new coat of paint.
Right.
But I don't know if it works, and I don't
On
want
a
to be
yearly-
Hubble
On
Avenue.
a yearly thing, they check all the fire hydrants.
When
There's
did they do it?
495 fire hydrants throughout the city of Ansonia.
I have never heard of them or fixing or coming around to do
Well,
it
it's
in my
a matter
neighborhood.
of fixing. They check the valves in the street. Them valves, I talked to the water company. I told them all them valves should always be open so that if there is a fire, they are able to get water, unlike what happened down on 5th Street,
And
which the
Hubble
hydrant failed, and that one has since been replaced.
Okay, how about the one on Hubble Street? Is that the one you're talking about?
That's the one down, if you go down Hubble to 5th, they already replaced
Well, I
that.
would appreciate if someone could check and see if there really
That
was.
one on Jackson Street and-
No, not
and on
Jackson,
Mary.
not Jackson. Well, Jackson, yeah, just make sure it works.
I'll check both.
I appreciate that.
I'll
Thank
give
you.
them a call tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Carroll, your hand was up?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it's fantastic about Home Goods.
Yeah.
Is that going in where?
Next to Marshall's.
And do you know approximately when that will be?
I'm anticipating within the next month and a half.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions of the Alderman from Hampton City, please? No? Okay,
Thank you.
Corporation Counsel, John Marini, please.
Mr. President, members of the board, I've submitted a draft of 4 ordinances to our ordinance committee chairman, Mr. Carroll. They are, number 1, a snow removal policy, beefed up regulations for clearing snow from sidewalks after storms. Number 2, a large special event registration policy. This recommended by our chief of police in dealing with large parties, often involving alcohol, that occur on private properties throughout the city. Also, number 3, a large vehicle parking regulation. You have very large trailers and campers and 1-ton plus trucks being parked on city streets. This has been causing some concern. We've reviewed ordinances in place in other towns. We're proposing something to keep up to date there. And finally, we've talked about this in the past, a rental accountability ordinance. And this is back to our age-old problem of absentee landlords. We know there are some absentee landlords, property owners that are wonderful, and they take care of their property, they take care of their residents, and there are many of these very, very good property owners throughout the city. But unfortunately, we also have properties that aren't being taken care of. We have absentee landlords that are really letting things slide. And so what we've done is put an update together. enhancing penalties for illegal apartments, hiking up that financial fee, really trying to discourage this illegal activity. And what's novel to this ordinance, and in fact what would be novel to Connecticut, is a provision that would enforce repayment of tuition in the case that an illegal apartment is housing a student that is enrolled in the Ansonia school system. Now, this has, of course, been one of the drains on our school system, something that has unfortunately is very hard to monitor, but when caught, we need a mechanism to be able to recoup the loss, you know? And this would allow us to hold not the child, not the parent responsible, but the person that should have known better, and that is the owner of the property. We're also looking to branch out to hold the brokers and the realtors accountable as well when they're actually involved in marketing and selling an illegal apartment. And so those have been given over to your ordinance committee chairman, and we'll be discussing that at an ordinance committee meeting in the future. Additionally, following up on last month, of course, you approved contracts going forward for both the sale of the ATP and Palmer for commercial development and the purchase of 65 Main Street for our police station and municipal building. And I'm in the process of just wrapping up the fine details with the two other parties involved. And we hope to have some very good news to report in terms of sealing the deals within the next month. And in fact, we have a resolution on just clarifying some of the legal points for the actual purchase of 65 Main Street. So everything's great on that front, and I look forward to announcing more news shortly.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Are there any questions? Joan Raven, please.
Okay, at the last meeting, we didn't get copies of the contract or the purchase of the property of the parking lot, and I did not have the opportunity to read it, so I did. And I'm not a lawyer, I understand that, and there's a lot of things that are just repeating, but there is a couple of things that came to my attention when I was reading it, and I just would like you to listen to it, people to hear it, because I was under the impression of something else. I was under the impression we were buying half of the parking lot, but this is the way it reads. The buyer and seller shall agree in writing that the buyer shall be solely responsible for maintenance, cleaning, and repair of the entire parking lot. The seller shall agree, pay any and all estate taxes that shall be, it says estate, I don't understand that, but shall be assessed against the 50% ownership of the lot. I was under the impression we were getting half of the lot, and I don't understand why we, as 50%, if I own 50% of something, I'm assuming I would keep that clean, 50%, but we are responsible as the city for the whole parking lot. I don't understand that at all.
Well, first part I think is easier to clear up. In terms of the ownership, it is indeed 50% of the ownership. It's not geographically split into two, but we will have 50% interest, they will have 50% interest,
Okay.
and they'll be responsible for paying taxes on 50%. And you might think it's a little weird, how does that work? It's valued as a whole, and essentially think about it as if they owned it, but we're getting a 50% discount, because of course the city doesn't pay taxes. So they pay 50% of the assessment value. But in terms of the maintenance, that is an interesting wrinkle there. Essentially, the city has an obligation to maintain half of its lot. If there is an incident on a lot that the city owns half of, it's going to be very difficult for the city to disclaim any liability, because there's going to be no geographic distinction between Part A and Part B. There is none. So it's simply in the city's best interest to maintain the entire lot rather than clean half of a lot. And that's what the city has been doing anyway, even though the lot has never been owned by us. So
Okay.
it really is no increase.
I have a problem with that,
expense.
John. How can you, and you're saying that you're giving parking spaces to the people across the street, not Serenity's building, the restaurant, which is going to be next door, Crave down the block. How do you have the lot marked off so that the people in that part aren't using more than 50% of it? I don't understand. Why is it not marked? This is the city of Ansonia, and this is the other gentleman. They have to take care. We have the responsibility of paying our people to do that. So it is an expensive thing, especially if we have a bad winter like we did a few years ago. Excuse me, John, Charlie, I'm speaking. Well, put your hand down. I just feel that I own a business, and if I say you own 50% of my business, I can say, well, 50% you help do everything too, but if I say you own this half of my store, then you keep this half of my store clean. At least that's the way I would do a contract, but that's fine. The city of Ansonia can do what they want. Now, this is the other thing, and this is in the 2.5 hours it took me to get through this thing. Grants funding. Throughout the project, the seller, through the Economic Development Office, will use its best efforts to seek and obtain any available grants, low-interest loans that may be available to the seller and the purchaser to assist with the project. Why is the city of Ansonia, why is our Economic Development Department doing grants for a private business?
So, to step back with the parking lot, the intention certainly will be down the line when it comes time to designating space, to designate which spaces for parking for the businesses versus the other development. The issue now, of course, is there is no other development. 501, we'd all love to have it developed. And that is really the point, that by working with these property owners, not only will we have 50% of a lot that we've never had any interest in before, so we will have finally an ownership in parking, we can hopefully work with them to develop 501. That's really the big light at the end of the tunnel. In working with the developer, we want to be flexible. We don't want to basically be, because we don't know what form their development will take down the road. Right now, in the foreseeable future, we'll be using 100% of the lot because they have no need for the lot. But when they finally start getting up and running and they start developing their property, hopefully, again, a mix of commercial and maybe residential, who's to say that it would have to be approved through planning and zoning and all that and be proposed. But then we would have to address the question geographically, where are our spaces versus theirs, and what are our options for, again, working together to facilitate development. With the other one, the answer to the other question is, why would we be assisting the development of, say, the ATP and the Palmer with grants? And again, it's simply been the philosophy of the administration all along, even with the Farrell development, in that if there's any way that the city could partner with developers to make sure that we're getting the maximum amount of funding from the state and the federal government for the good of the city, we'll do that. And so a great example of that is the Farrell development. It was a private development, but we had an opportunity to work with the enhancement of the road, and it allowed Farrell to stay in Ansonia, keep this big company and this big manufacturing business in Ansonia where everybody else is leaving the state. We hope there's opportunities to do that here, because remember, the project doesn't just impact this private developer, it impacts the whole city. We know we want to look to enhance parking, municipal parking throughout the city. There's more of a shot when the private developer is working with the city. And so, we're open arms to work with a private developer on these big projects because everybody wins in the end.
Thank you.
Okay, I think Mrs. Stone, I have a question for you.
Is this parking lot gonna be shared by the people visiting the police department, or is this the one across the street?
We're talking about the lot that's in between 65 Main and 501. So this is the lot that's right on Main Street. It's the lot that,
Will the police be,
across from
people
Massamedes.
that go to the police station be going in and out of that parking lot?
I believe you can definitely be having people visiting the police station,
Right,
parking there
so
and
I
walking over.
mean, we have, with that being said, I think we have to make sure that parking lot is accessible all the time.
And we were making a big step by owning half of the lot. Remember, I think, it goes, sometimes it gets forgotten. We actually don't own that lot at all right now. And if the owner wanted to say, city, we want it for new stores. We want it to put, who knows, a parking garage on for our own exclusive use. We'd have no standing except to take it by eminent domain at that point. We would lose key parking. So this agreement gives us 50% of something where we had nothing, no interest in before. But we want to keep it open, accessible for the police, for the businesses, and honestly, we want to look for options in the future. But who's to say a municipal parking garage wouldn't work good on that piece right there? And that could help with the businesses as they develop, the landowners, and of course the city. So we're looking for any opportunities to maximize parking.
Any other, Mr. Henry, please.
Since the business will be paying taxes on 50% of that property, I'm pretty sure that'll cover any snow plowing we have to do once in a while. So I'm happy with that. And if we all want to go out after this meeting and assign parking spaces out there with a can of paint, I'm up for that too. We can do the details of it right now. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Marino? Mr. Marino, please.
Yes, Mr. Marino, how long have them buildings been vacant?
But they've been mostly vacant since the 80s.
Since the
There's
80s, so
been
that brought in,
offices here and there, our senior center, but the buildings haven't been they haven't been living up to their highest investors.
so that brought no tax revenue into the city.
Scant tax revenue.
So if we develop those and work with partnership with a developer, and we get businesses and housing or whatever we do to get in here, that's gonna create revenue
Yeah,
and help ease the
I mean,
tax burden.
directly, there's going to be a gain from the buildings themselves. The value is going to go up. They're going to generate taxes, personal property taxes as well as real estate taxes. But there's a bigger effect, a much bigger effect. When they become developed as hopefully successful commercial and residential space, they're going to encourage more investment all throughout the downtown and the city. And already you see this happening. We're building off of our momentum. As we have one success, it leads to another. And the home goods announcement tonight is really just that next domino to fall. So you really got to look at the big picture.
Right. Thank you.
Are there any other questions of the Alderman for Corporation Council? Thank you. Sheila Valley, Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Board of Aldermen. As the mayor said, there's development going on in every corner of the city. And so I was jotting down some of the development that has occurred over the last approximately three and a half years. And this is a list by no means all encompassing, but I thought we can go over what's happening in this city. The opening of Anamkara, a holistic center, the opening of Copper City Bar and Grill, and shortly thereafter an expansion to outdoor dining. There's new construction at Massimino's. 65 Main Street is soon to become the home of the new police headquarters. 497 East Main Street and 153 will be sold thanks to this board. New owners will take over 90 residential market rate units with retail on the bottom. Valley Diner Eatery has opened up. Lulu Pazzas has opened up. Ansonia Copper and Brass will go out for tax auction on July 19th. Prior to that, we did have some demolition which occurred on site as a result of an agreement we made. Unfortunately, that agreement isn't going forward, so we're going to go out to tax auction. They owe over $1.2 million in back taxes on that property. Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian boxing opened up. Goodfellows opened up. Warsaw Restaurant, Thigh High Chicken, T-Mobile. We saw an expansion at Big Y. We are seeing assessment on brownfields issues at the Target property because a developer has purchased that and will open up 3 new site pads. On East Main Street, Banco's new owner totally revamped and renovated that store, and also a new guitar manufacturer is moving in right next door and will be up and running. The Vegetist has opened up. Rosamina is a new restaurant that opened on East Main Street. Road Ready, which saw the creation of approximately 100 new jobs. Fitzpatrick has been undergoing renovations and has completed those renovations. We had Brannigan's open up. Of course, the big project was Farrell up on Fountain Lake, which opened up an industrial parcel and retained 90 jobs. Better Packages, a manufacturer that has taken space on Hershey Drive and is now expanding another 20,000 square feet in manufacturing space. We saw the opening of an Army Corps Reserve office here in Ansonia. Burger King underwent renovations. Cumberland Farms. Okay, I'll stop there. But I want to thank this board. I also want to thank our building department and our land use boards for their help with all of these projects. A lot going on. Let's see. Let's talk about the Armory. That's going to be starting on Monday, July 19th, with a completion date of November 15th. So that's the exterior renovation, the brick pointing, and so forth. The Nature Center parking lot has been completed. I don't know if any of you have gone up there to see it. It's actually really beautiful. ADA improvements to the Nature Center taking place. The railings will be finished by the end of the month for the interior of the building. so that we're ADA compliant. Some of the compliance issues we're addressing. Accessible walkway has been completed to the parking, to the new playground. Let's see, East Main Street, we are in discussions with the state on approval of our parking lot, or not approval, but at least to discuss with them our parking lot plans, subject to, of course, the police chief and the traffic authority, local traffic authority. Let's see. Riverwalk Segment 8, we're just waiting for the sign off from the state. That should occur probably this week. Waters Construction will be given the notice to proceed within a week or two. So you'll see construction on Segment 8. Wakely Avenue, we have a, Alderman Radin, Alderman Yauman, we have a, as you know, a workshop per your request, both on the Yankee Gas project, which has been completed, I guess, but there are some issues and some questions from the neighbors, and we're also going to be discussing the our rehabilitation and reconstruction of Wakely Avenue project, which hopefully will get started this summer. Prindle Avenue is going, there is a required public hearing, and we're going to have that on July 18th at 6 o'clock. That's for anybody who's interested in the Prindle Avenue and Route 243 project going forward. I think that's it for now. Any questions? Yes?
Sheila, you said Section 8 of the Riverwalk. Is that the part that's going over the railroad tracks?
Correct. Yep.
Thank you.
I have a question on that. So where will that end? What will that take it to then? It'll go across?
Pershing Drive. It'll dump out onto Pershing Drive, and then we're hoping to go towards Main Street, carry it across the bridge.
Will it be accessible for use during the construction?
That's a good question. I don't know, because you have to actually put the bridge in place and the footings for the bridge. So you can go to that point maybe, but the rest of the Riverwalk will be accessible.
One question for the mayor. Will
Yes.
it remain dog friendly throughout?
Yes, absolutely.
Of course, just register your dog.
Yep.
We check them at the gate.
All right.
I just want to comment, I see Specters has painted their building.
Oh, Specters, I'm sorry.
They got a facelift.
It's doing a facelift. Actually, the Economic Development Commission and this board saw fit to give them a loan, which they are paying back on a monthly basis. I've already started payments, so that's worked out. They put in about $15,000. We gave them $5,000.
And that's available to,
And that's available to all businesses for exterior renovations of your business.
I also noticed on the side of JRB's, there's a big billboard for a restaurant in Southington. Do you know how that came to be?
I don't.
Because either someone in town owns that restaurant too, or they're targeting Ansonia because they know there's a lot of restaurants down here, which I think is
It could be a little bit
a
of
good
both,
indicator
right.
of
It's
how
good.
well things are going. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Frank Libro.
Yes, I don't think you mentioned the date and the time of that Wakely Avenue workshop.
Sorry about that. 6 o'clock at Arms, and that's tomorrow night. And 6 o'clock at Emmett O'Brien on July 18th in the cafeteria for Brindle.
Why did that get delayed? Okay. Strike that.
Okay, any other questions for Sheila Malley from the Alderman? Thank you, Sheila.
All right.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Constituent Services, how are you?
Yes, very good, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, and members of the board. I believe since the last meeting, I've got a couple of notes of interest. I know the Valley United Way, they opened up the 2 community gardens. One is on Gaddison Park and one is up on Pine Lot. And since that opening, the Valley United Way was contacted by Liberty Bank. It's their 20th anniversary this year, and they're going to be giving out $20,000 grants to entities that are involved with some type of ecology-related programs. So Liberty Bank, or Valley United, contacted myself and the mayor to assist them in putting together a promotional video that was part of the contest rules, is to film some type of original video on why, you know, you need this grant of $20,000. So Valley United Way approached us about filming a video, which we just finished this past week, down at Gaddison Park, involved the residents of the neighborhood, filmed on location with the gardens. But the ultimate would be if the Valley United Way does win this contest or this $20,000 grant, that will ensure these two community gardens in Ansonia could continue for at least another 2 years. So there's a lot of high hopes on this. The United Illuminating, they confirmed starting in August they will be doing a transfer of light bulbs for 2 free LED lights. In addition, they're going to be rolling out a plan, a program for all the residents of Ansonia to earn basically a house audit for winterizing your home. And it's a $600-700 cost, but they're going to offer it as a $129 copay to all the residents of the city. They approached us in terms of how could we get the message out to United Illuminating, and we suggested, well, we've got a tax bill coming up. If you print an insert, you pay for it, the printing and you pay for the inserting it, we'll be happy to have it right along in the tax bill. So that's, as soon as that gets finalized in terms of when the tax bill is coming out, there will be a promotional insert for the UI in there. Also working on a campaign now. It's in the early stages. It's for Ansonia, just to kind of give itself a brand, since there's, as Sheila just discussed, there's so much going on in the downtown area, kind of coast to coast. Coming up with an idea of a marketing plan, which would be unique for this. I think a lot of these towns around here for this size town, for the Valley community, it would be called Ansonia Recharged. Would have a logo, you know, playing off the Ansonia Charger and a lightning bolt through it. And this whole campaign and branding could involve everything from restructuring the economic development website to a very interactive website that's going to showcase all of downtown. You know, all these, you know, icons and buttons will go to say, okay, you click on here, we're going to show you what's happening to this building, that building. Here's something that's being proposed coming into downtown. We may include billboard advertising, you know, not major, but just a couple billboards leading in and out of the city. And we've got the billboards and what's the well, yeah, with the realtors. So that's going to be a campaign that should be, you know, rolled out in more detail in the next couple of months. Lastly, from a personal, I'd just like to see something. I was meeting with Dave Connolly. He's really close to the DEP, and he's active fisherman, and he's been very big in stocking Colony Pond. You know, each year it's been stocked now, about 200 or 300 trout. But also every year about this time, the pond gets slime green. And just this past Saturday, the green had started, and I was talking to Dave yesterday, and he said just with this 3-day heat wave we had, the pond, the whole surface is, you know, it's green. So we're looking at exploratory ways how to eliminate this through like irrigation systems, also through some maybe organic chemical that is recommended by the DEP. So that's just because it's kind of exciting, you know, and it is a showcase pond for Ansonia. And if I was a fisherman, I probably would want to throw a line in that water and try to eat something that I pulled out. So that's the update.
Thank you, sir. Any questions of the Alderman? Okay.
Is there anything going on with that building that's right over by the pond there? It's like a snack shop or whatever. Is there any plans? Or
well, that's correct. I guess it used to be a snack shop at one time, because I do remember when I used to ice skate there as a kid. You'd go over there, and we actually did talk about, you know, looking into maybe bringing the snack shop back, and we even talked about bringing the beach back that they used to have there and the slide into the water. So, you know, there's a lot of things in discussion, but right now it's just being used in storage.
I just want to thank you for your enthusiasm. City Hall doesn't really have many employees for this whole city to do the administration, and you've jumped in, you hit the ground running, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Patrick.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Tom Thompson, you have something to do with the order? Okay. Keep an eye on us.
Just listening.
Okay, thank you, sir. Chief Hale, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening. We've been very active in terms of filling our ranks. As you know, we've had openings for a while now, so we have a recruit graduating Monday. We have another one graduating on July 7th. We have an officer recruit candidate beginning Monday. He won't enter the academy until July 7th. We have two more currently in active final background check, so we're hoping that we can get them through there. And continuing to go forward, we're conducting more interviews in the next 2 weeks probably. So the 4th of July is a couple of weeks away, and inherently the fireworks displays will start appearing in your neighborhoods, perhaps as early as tonight. But the law is very strict in Connecticut. If you're 6 feet tall, it can't go over your head. If it goes over your head and you're 6 feet tall, then it's illegal. If it explodes on the ground and makes a giant noise, it's illegal. So basically the stuff you can buy in Walmart and sprinkler, the ones you hold in your hand, and sparklers and salutes are illegal, M80s and all that fun stuff when we were kids. That's all gone. So if you're seeing this in your neighborhoods, please give us a call. We'll get it inundated the week of 4th of July and the week after. And again, along those lines, the weather's beautiful. We're starting to get loud noise, loud music complaints. Just because a party's occurring in 2 o'clock in the afternoon doesn't mean that it can't disturb the neighbors. So it's less time dependent and more what is reasonable. In the law, we like to talk about what is reasonable. So again, if there are any complaints, if you talk to your constituents or yourselves, and something seems too loud or out of control, too fast, we're certainly concerned with youth consuming alcohol and whatnot. Now these parties sometimes lead to that. So this law, it's our normal summertime activities, and we're just trying to make sure everybody's aware they can call us, and we'll certainly respond. Again, if something's going on in your neighborhood, you know it better than anybody. See something, say something, so please let us know if something's out of place. We're getting some of those calls. We're starting to see more of that, and we're getting a lot of good cooperation from our residents, and we do appreciate that. We certainly can't operate in a void. So I think you got your signs up. Thank you. All right, I beat you to it. I saw you turn. I knew you were going to say something. Signs are up. We've got some no parking signs going up in Beaver Street. They used to be there years ago. We got signs going up. There's signs all over. That's it.
Thank you, Chief. Joe Rader, please.
Kevin, this is good news for a change. One of my customers came in and told me 2 of the red lights were out on Jackson and Wakely. And I called the desk and Kevin Gilbert answered. And that night when I was going to a meeting, I noticed one of the green lights was out on the other side. And I would say within a week, the person came in and told me that all the lights were on. He didn't even realize the green one was out, but they are working now, and thank you very much for doing it so quickly.
Thank you, and for reminding me as well. If you see that, I'll drive through an intersection and see one, so I got to write that one down, and of course I don't, and forget about it. But once we get those calls, we talk to Public Works, and they usually get out there.
They were out the next week. It was fine, thank you.
If we see one out, please let us know.
Mr. Carroll, please.
I'll still thank you publicly for the
Thank you.
signs on the corner of 3rd and North Main. But may I also thank the mayor for something?
Of course.
I want to thank you for the other weekend for the dedication for the Mike Mills Park that used to be Gadsden Park. It was a great celebration. There was over, I think around over 100 people there.
Oh, there's more than that.
Yeah. So I just, it was a great dedication.
Yeah.
Any other questions from Chief?
Mr. President,
Patrick?
I had one more point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So activities, there's a road race tomorrow night in the Hilltop area. It's the YMCA annual Twilight Race. So there'll be some activity, police activity, runners, if you're living in the area, starting and ending in Pernagas, and then there's a walker's route around there. So
Chief Hill will be leading it with the torch out front.
not anymore.
The days are gone.
I just wanted to thank you again. I thanked you at the police commission the other day, to you and the officers who showed up at the Woodbridge Memorial commemoration and the Memorial Day parade, whether they were volunteered or were voluntold. We appreciate it. Please thank them.
One more thing, Kevin. I found a slip from last year from the police awards. Did they do them or did I?
No. So we're going to do that. Thanks for bringing that up. We're going to do that every other year now.
Oh, okay.
Just to make sure we have a more robust program.
Well, I've just found the program from last year, and I said, I didn't hear it at our meetings.
No,
and
you would have known. You would have known.
Yes, I know.
That's normally in May. May is Police Memorial Month.
That's why I was questioning it. Thank you.
So that's going to be biannually, I guess, what you would call it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Chief. Who do we have in the audience? Mr. Michael D'Alessio, Public Works, anything for the moment? Thank you. Sir?
Very busy month this month, how it works, with parades and getting all the mulching done and flower beds.
You do get it done, Mike.
We're getting it done. Same old time, but we're getting it done. One thing I had on the agenda tonight, we bought our new backhoe. You know, we traded the old one in. We go over to the board. We traded the old one in for the new one. They gave us a good trade, $18,000 for it. I thought the radio was like 8 or 10, so beat up, new tires. But the trade went off very well. We got a state bid price on the new one. 25,000 cheaper than the John Deere. We got a Caterpillar. State bid price and what the new traded, I think it cost us like $70,000 and $125. That should be coming in next week. But I'm taking the old machine to trade. We also ordered another 550 film. That's coming in. Right down the money. About 2 months, so we'll be retiring the old two Mason ducts that we had that are smoking. So you do 2,000 going on, the smoke going out the side. We got 15 years out of Mason ducts. So the hail is nothing.
Mike, if I can just stop you there, I'm just reading your communication number 1. So it's your recommendation that we waive the bid for the Caterpillar backhoe loader, right? That's your recommendation?
It is.
Okay.
Also, my mechanic, he looked it over, he was surprised they were giving us so much for it. I guess they take them, they send them overseas.
Really?
They call overseas for a machine. They take them over there, they use them for years. So that's where it's going. Yes, thank God we got a new machine going.
Are you finished?
Well, that's okay.
Okay, I would like to first thank you for fixing part of Wakely Avenue and all of Jackson. It's been very quiet on my corner, but what about the rest of Wakely Avenue? Why didn't they go down and fix that area? People are not coming on the street because they're throwing their cars out of whack. I hit a pothole and blew a tire, which I had to replace a couple weeks ago. And I'm hearing it from my customers and from my people in my area. They don't go that way at all. The only thing we have coming by there are 18-wheelers and immensely huge pieces of equipment. Every day. We get 3 or 4 of those and a half a dozen 18-wheelers. So,
I mean, I know it's, they've been out there twice. They did a lot of work. They started this project last year.
I know.
They probably should have started the project this year. We went a whole year. They did it this year. We would have had, all this last year, going through the winter and all that. They have came out, we got our town hall meeting tomorrow night. We're gonna discuss that. I think gas company will be there. There's not much more they can do until we start renovations on finishing the project. Which hope is gonna happen soon. In the meantime, I'm out there with cold patch. If I see something, I take care of it.
that's not going to happen in a year. That's going to be a couple of years. But anyway, the other question I have is I also got questioned at the parade. Whose responsibility was it to cut the grass on Westfield Avenue at the invited marshes?
That's ours.
It's yours, okay, and it was taken care of.
We just really got behind. We didn't know about it. We forgot that intersection was ours.
Well, Roy's brother asked me at the parade, and that's why I called and talked to Tim. They did.
That's on the agenda now. That's gonna be done once we take care of
Okay. No, they actually did, because I went down and checked to see whether, whose responsibility. I'm glad I reminded you. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for being so quick.
Other than that, for day-to-day operations, we got 5 new summer home customers, big aggressive helpers. They're out there every day. We went, put up papers. We set a couple on the park for our guys. We got 3 parks guys, and they're out there doing the land. We get a lot of parks in the valley,
It's okay.
We're on it. As soon as somebody calls, we get out there. Take care of it. Sometimes you see something, give me a call.
Yes, thank you, Judge. Check the corner of Harris and Highland Avenue, the backside, because I understand this, on Highland Avenue, but that property owner is on Harris Road. But apparently, I just found out there's like 19 feet that the city owns and is supposed to take care of. The weeds are high, and logs laying there, the trees are overgrown. So,
I know, I was off your page, it is ours.
Okay.
Somebody dumped a big pile of.
yes, they did, because it looked like that, so they pile on, so.
They threw a bunch of stuff.
We clean it up, it might help.
Timbers and, the roadside machine going out, next week also, Kevin's gonna be running, so we'll be going down the roads. We'll hit that first, cut all that out, and we gotta get rid of the machine, it's loaded. It's,
Thank you very much.
we took care of the sealant valves,
Did you?
cut the fast and the sealant valves.
Are they up or in the broom?
It should be up, we sent 3 guys yesterday, and hopefully finish it.
Thank you very much.
Field looked nice for graduation. Just wanted to say that.
I wanted to thank you for field conditions in Nolan throughout the whole baseball season, being out there. The fields are really in good shape. Nelligan, thank you for the fence. I wanted to just ask, have we made any progress on the tops of the dugouts and the corrugated plastic?
Yes, we're gonna do about steel, just like they have down in O'Brien, just get the price on some steel. That's just for basically the masonry supply house, they're corrugated deck, they're galvanized, so you gotta get them on the roof on all 3 of them, screw them down, keep the sun up, it's gonna get hot.
Is that for Nelligan?
Yes.
Because I heard Nelligan may go away.
Hey, but in the meantime, it's not a big expense.
Okay.
One thing works for the guys, might be like $500 for that, so. They're asking me, so I'll get it done, so I don't question it all the time.
And I also want to say, I mean, from Nolan to Jackson, Wakely, I mean, is in much better shape than it used to be. Some of the bigger trouble areas going the other direction, right at the top of Church, right at the corner of Mary and Wakely, right there, and right past Romans. So if you want to check those spots out, those are where 3 of the bigger holes are.
They milled the other sections during the jump storm, and they're all the way down, they milled it out. They got it looking pretty good. Kind of sick of the gas company. They got a trench, they put a gas line. They've been keeping up with it. They sent a crew out there again, they built it. They just got a lot of money to keep this stuff stable. We found that in between finishing this deal, everybody else there is, like I said, done last year, should have been done this year. So we're kind of another year, people complaining. I understand, I drive through here too. I straddle my car over the phone, send the water for it. So it'll be addressed in one night. Hopefully we take care of it.
Any questions, Mr. Wilson? Good job. Oh, wait a minute, Mr. Stubb.
Mike, this is, maybe Chief and the Mayor may want to have some input in this. Last meeting, we were talking about, making people pay to bring tires and refrigerators to the race station over there because, it costs us too much to handle the stuff. And I'm in agreement, but I have a concern that, because I've seen it happen many times before, I know Mr. Vaccaro knows this very well, the street that he's on, when you have to start paying to bring your freezer or whatever, they decide to throw them over the fence, right, Laura?
That's right.
So, this goes to the mayor and the chief. Is there some way to have like a couple of portable cameras and put them up in hot spots, and then when we catch them
You
with,
can put them on Clinton Road. I mean, that Clinton Road is famous for mattresses and refrigerators and
Well,
everything, and that's just up the street from Beaver.
I think the fine for littering is like $200. Is that? And I think those if you have 2 portable cameras, I think they would be able to pay back for themselves. Sure. I'm very concerned, and I agree with what Mike wants to do. I'm concerned about the dumping. Right?
One research in different towns what they're charging, and most of the towns are charging for tires, mattresses. They're charging for all these things, we're not charging, we're getting hit heavy, we're paying $10 for mattresses, $4 for tires, we're running tires up to Bristol.
If this, I just, hang on, look, if this starts going through, John, I'd like you to incorporate, please, incorporate the litter, the dumping part in it, because I know that that's gonna become an issue. Thank you. Thanks, Mike, you're doing great work.
Carl, yes, Carl, I wanted to say, Mike, we're gonna have an ordinance meeting at some point in July. Alderman Carroll will be chairman of the ordinance. Maybe get the information together for us in the next few weeks and forward to Randy and or JP.
Two other towns are going, Eastern Falls, Montauk, they have a list, and they're showing her that pay for it. We both off the same thing. In the beginning, people have to go upset, but once they see the cost, they'll get used to it. We might need a debit card machine, I think, now for people to come in. Everybody got debit cards.
Rich, everyone's looking at you, Rich. Thanks,
Good
Mike.
job, Mike, thank you. This is Board of Education left, but, we, thank you, Polish, you want this to say? Sir? Or the register. All the registers, yes.
Alderman, or
Yes,
President.
Mr.
I just want to let everybody know that our electrical inspector had a massive heart attack and is on life support at Yale New Haven Hospital. Bob Dunn. I'd like to have a little moment of silence, and I hope that, you would pray for his recovery. So, if everybody just stand. Because Bob was a great guy. He's been here quite a while. I know him very well. He's looking out for the best interest of everybody. So if we'd have just a moment and a prayer for him. Thank you.
Public officials here that I'm writing this. Public official session is closed. Committee reports. Finance committee.
Pay all bills if found to be correct.
Is there a second on that? Mr. Carroll, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Anything else, Mr. Scott?
I don't think so.
Okay. Public Works Committee, I think we just heard from Mr. Delesio.
Yep.
Arms Committee, Mr. Blackville or John Ranger?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Due to the timing of this month's ARMS meeting and the end of the month, I will have the report next month. It wasn't generated by the time.
That's fine. Thank you, Mr. Blackwell. WPCA, would be Mr. Stowe or?
Really have nothing to talk about there, although we are gonna talk about, I can't remember which, there's the 9/11 and then what's the one we're on now? 5-4.
Next one's sewer use.
Sewer use. We're gonna set the rate for that next month. I'm sorry, not tonight.
Thank you. Is that all, sir?
Yep.
Fire Commission, is that Mr. Henry or who's assist board?
I got it, thank you. Motor vehicle assist, 9, smoker odor investigations, 9, false alarms, 14, which doesn't necessarily mean intentional false alarms. 8 miscellaneous calls, in a total there was 57 calls last month. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. Ordinance Committee, Mr. Carroll, please.
The Board of Aldermen and the Ordinance Committee have received all the ordinances that we're going to discuss. JP forgot to mention that there is also a vaping ordinance to review. And I have contacted all the members of the Ordinance Commission. Please let me know when you can make a meeting so that I can call it as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Ansonia Housing Authority?
We had a meeting this past week, and they had a gentleman there from HUD, financial man, and they discussed their budget and the amount of money that's in their treasury and how it's to be used, and they haven't found a new person yet, so the meeting didn't last very long, but they were really discussing their budget and the amount of money that goes through the HUD all the time. That's about all they had time for.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other, Mr. Henry, please.
Well, Wednesday is our regular blight meeting. I may cancel that because Tuesday we have a meeting at the high school, and I like to be home once in a while, so. Is it this coming Wednesday? Not tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I'll send an email out. I'll check with Light downstairs to see if there's anything really pressing.
Well, 20th is a week from today. We're good for agendas and everything for
19th. Both, right? We have 19th and 20th.
I don't know, Mr. Stowe?
What's that?
Question came up, do we have a need for a meeting on the 19th?
No.
Okay, so 20th.
So the only agendas that we really need for next week are the public hearing on the budget at 7 p.m. to be followed by a special meeting of the Board of Aldermen to vote on the budget in Ansonia High School, 20th, starting at 7 p.m. And I think Dr. Malone was present when we talked about that. We asked her directly about availability at the high school, and she seemed conducive to that. So she just wanted to make one phone call, and it shouldn't be a problem at the high school. Mr. Young and I will need to we'll get to that. Just ask him.
Just to clarify, so there's nothing on Monday and there's 2 on Tuesday, correct?
I'm missing the point on.
There's nothing on the 19th and there's a back-to-back on the 20th?
Well, it's a combined public
hearing and
then we roll into a meeting. Really, it's just a vote of the Board of Aldermen on the budget.
But nothing on the 19th anymore?
No.
No,
No, you already,
Okay.
That was just in
Perfect.
case.
you already did that.
No.
I digress, sorry about that. All right, I'd like to move forward to municipal reports. We have some vote recommendations. Mr. McCarl, please.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the 2 motions as approved by vote.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second on Mr. Castellitis? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Mr. President, I'd also like to make a motion that we accept the control approvals as well as the land use department reports.
Thank you, sir. Second by Mr. Stewart. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Ms. Castellitis, you have your hand up?
Make a motion to accept the tax collector's report and request for refund of the amount of $990.
Is there a second on that? Mr. Dr. Stewart? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. On the category of accidents and claims, Mr. Martin Dempsey?
Make a motion to refer
Okay, is there a second on that? Sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One abstention. We have one abstention on Mr. Castellitis. Thank you, Mr. Castellitis. Communications, and fortunately, we just had Mr. Gillespie speaking on communications number 1. Have it in front of you, and basically, Mr. Gillespie just told us that he's going to in Ansonia, and when somebody's ready. Mr. Young, please.
Motion to accept the communication and approve request.
Waive the-
Request to waive the bid. Okay, is there a second on that by Mr. Castellitis? Discussion, anybody? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. That's communication number 1. Communication number 2. Mr. Blackwell, you want to enlighten us?
Yes, this is a light tower that I believe was put part of the bond that the residents approved there. Just looking for permission to purchase the light tower from Superior Rental in the amount of not to exceed $7,600.
Is that a motion, sir?
Yes, please.
Second by Mr. Vaccaro. Mr. Stowe?
I'd just like to know is, what is the function of this?
The light tower?
Yeah, what is it gonna provide?
It provides light support to, we use it at fire scenes, EMS scenes, police scenes, any kind of scene that requires lighting, in dark conditions.
Do you have the police department have anything like that?
Not that size.
So you share with them?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you all. I see no resignations, I see no appointments. Resolution number 1. Purchase of portion of 65 Main Street. Mr. Marini, what you talked about earlier? Resolution number 1.
Yes, exactly.
Do you have a quick synopsis?
So, I think in working with bond counsel, we're approaching that point where we're going to need to finalize financing for the project. He wants to make sure that all of his ducks are in a row, and so he's put together a resolution he wants to see, clarifying that the Board of Aldermen has authorized the purchase of the property and basically dotting all the i's, crossing all the t's. There is some interesting news, however, and it's good news. He wants flexibility. Originally, our talk about the financing revolved around USDA, 40-year loan, low interest. The actual referendum question didn't mention financing one way or the other. It mentioned we'd be borrowing the money, but it didn't clearly identify USDA versus bonding. Well, it just so happens that after crunching the numbers, Joe Fazzi, our bond counsel, he believes really the rates right now may actually make it better for us to do bonding versus the USDA loans. He believes it'll save a lot of money. So he's going to do a calculation. We're going to crunch the numbers and compare the two options and go with which one makes better financial sense. However, he also wants to be clear that the aldermen recognize that there is that flexibility. The referendum question to the residents didn't say how it was going to be financed, just that it was going to be borrowed. So we also want to make that clear in the resolution as well, that it could be USDA funding, the loan, or it could also be standard bonding, which is how the other projects are being funded.
So, sir, as long as doing is looking for the best rate for the taxpayers of the city of Ansonia.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
All right. Does anybody have any questions of Mr. Marine, Mr. Patrick?
Would the bonding be over how many years?
USDA is 40 years and bonds are 20 years. But with the fluctuating interest rate and our good interest rate, it may be cheaper over the long run, and Rich could talk to this. It may be cheaper with the 20-year bonds at our interest rate. We may be saving money. It depends. It fluctuates and it will depend on the market.
Thank you.
So we just want to make sure we're saving money and not spending more than we have to.
Any questions from Mr. Yeoman, please?
Does this resolution then give the flexibility to go either way?
We always did have the flexibility to go either way, though if you remember, when we voted at the last meeting, we did say contingent on USDA financing, because at that point, there didn't seem to be a question as to how we were going to finance. We do want to clarify that the aldermen do agree that it could be either or, USDA or the bond. So we always had the flexibility with the referendum. Referendum doesn't commit either, it didn't ask the voters to specifically approve using USDA money. USDA doesn't appear in the language of the referendum, just the idea to borrow money. But we want to make clear in the resolution as we're finalizing it that this, because we've talked a lot about the USDA, that we recognize that it could be either one. We don't want to commit to either one at this point. We're applying to the USDA as well. We're on that track. So that way when the time comes, we have both options to look at.
Any other questions? So, Mr. Reed, you just need a motion to approve the resolution of law?
Exactly.
Alderman? Motion. Second by Mr. Josh Stewart. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Resolution number 2, I understand that the fire marshal would like us to wait on this.
Can I-
Joe Maiden?
Well, I got a note from the fire marshal, acting fire marshal, which I was going to bring up, that he asked that we wait until they finish it because they still had a few more changes they had to make, and they didn't want us to pass it and then have it that way and not get the new changes. And I'm sure everybody else got it too, but I made a printout of it, so I would
Do you
know.
have a motion to table?
I would make a motion to table it.
Is there a second, Mr. Carroll? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you all. Ordinance, Mr. Carroll, do you have that? Draft ordinance submitted for its committee?
I think
You all set?
everybody has been submitted it, yeah.
Everything, we're all good on that?
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Carroll. New business, Mr. Joseph Galvin.
Can I ask you a question on that? Talking about the snow one?
Pardon me?
The snow one, is that what we're talking about?
There's, I believe there's 5 of them.
Yeah, but that's what you're talking about, this packet of things.
There's 5 ordinances.
I read them.
But the snow is
I wanted to make sure that I was reading the right thing.
Mr. Young, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. So just before this meeting, the Finance Committee voted unanimously to bring the budget to a public hearing. Date and time will be set. So the motion to push the budget as adopted by the Finance Committee to a public hearing. The date would be June 20th, 7 p.m., tentatively at the high school, and immediately following that would be a special meeting of the full board.
Second by Mr. Castellitis, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Mr. Young, and all the Okay. Any old business? Are there any old, Mr. Stowe, please.
I just have a question.
New business.
Oh, I'm sorry. New business, please.
Go ahead.
I just want to, around the municipal reports, I just want to highlight the fact that total revenue from July 2016 to May 2017 is $239,000 plus, which covers the entire, pretty much the entire cost to run that department. And I want to highlight the fact that Ron McLean's doing a good job in that department. White has brought in, by enforcement, $110,000 in change, and building, whopping $60,000 or $88. So just wanted to highlight the fact that they're doing a good job downstairs. Thank you.
Mr. Henry.
I'd like to piggyback on that from our last meeting. They are doing a great job, but they could be doing so much more if they even had like a part-time person. So planting that seed, there's a lot to be done. They could get out away from their desk if they can get out there, if they had someone else in the office or someone else to go out there in the field. Thank you.
I have a hiring question about employees moving forward with retirement. I have a management new business role.
I think Charlie's going to bring that up.
Doesn't matter. What do you want to call it? Old business or new business? Your corporation counsel, Mr. Marini, you are part of personnel?
Yes.
Okay, I just have a question to ask about hiring here, EMT driver position.
Charlie?
Yes, sir.
We can't hear you, so.
Hiring EMT driver
We can't
position.
hear you talking.
EMT driver for Ansonia Rescue, two external employment applications were received for part-time EMT driver position at Ansonia. Are these fillers or are these new positions?
These are replacements.
That's all
So
I
these
need.
are not new
That's
positions.
fine. That's
All
fine.
of these are replacements for individuals that have departed.
We don't have to go any, I just wanted to make sure we were adhering to that motion that was made
Yes.
about no new
Yes.
employees
Yeah, no new
until the
positions.
budget's passed. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Blackwell, please.
Yeah, just to clarify a little bit, the way that we structure things down Arms, Charlie, we don't go by employees. As the police department does, they have like a minimum amount of manpower. We go hourly and by shift. So basically, we're like a per diem hire. So even if they were new hires and not replace, there's nobody really to replace, is what I'm saying. Every shift is just filled by not a specific person, it's just a shift to be filled. So basically all our employees could be per diem. They're all part-time, they're non-union. So even if we hired 100 employees and they were all new, it doesn't mean that they're getting on the payroll and they're receiving benefits. We fill shifts, not employees, if that makes any sense to you.
I'm fine with what went on,
Okay.
you know? Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. Marini.
Just a point, tonight, I think the board took a great step in wrapping up the budget process, trying its best to be financially responsible and accountable. And on that topic, I think we have a very fitting guest who I just see in the audience now. We're joined tonight by the Honorable First Selectman of the town of Trumbull, Mr. Timothy Herbst. And gubernatorial candidate as well.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. This is the first for me.
Okay, well, welcome. All right, we'll try to wrap this up quickly and you can each come back. So, we're all set with new business? No other new business? No other new business? Any old business? Does anybody have any old business? Any old business? Any old business? Well, with that in mind, we're at the end of the open session. I'll take a motion, Ms. Castellitis. is there a second? Mr. Belieber, all those in favor? Aye. Aye, opposed? So moved. Thank you all.
5 minutes.
Yes, 5-minute break for whatever you gotta do. Mr. Lee, who would you like to take?
Take a break.
Session.